Despite what I say about America, and I say a lot about America, I put all of that to the side. And this is probably the only time I'm super patriotic. Like, it's USA. We're going to get ready to get into what's hot in these blogs. Kicking it off, the Olympics, the 2024 Olympic Games is happening right now in Paris, a city in France that I have such an affinity for. Like, it's something about Paris. I love Paris. I've been there twice and I'm looking forward to going again. It's just like, I don't know, it's something about it. It's the environment. It just, I love it. I love it. So that's where the Olympics is happening at right now. It's going to be taking place over the next 2 weeks. And despite what I say about America, and I say a lot about America, and America has a lot of healing to do. America has a lot of wrongs to right. America has a lot of things they have to fix, especially when it comes to Black people. I'm going to speak about Black people because I'm Black. They have a lot to fix. There's a lot of things going on that I'm always like, yeah, this ain't it. This ain't it. But when it comes to the Olympics, for the 2-week span, I put all of that to the side. And this is probably the only time I'm super patriotic. Like, it's USA, USA. Like, I'm rallying behind this Team USA all day. After the 2 weeks is up, after the 11th, I think, is when it's over, August 11th or so, then I'm gonna get back to calling America out. But for these next 2 weeks, it's Team USA all day. And I'm looking forward to seeing how many gold medals the United States of America takes home. I'm not into all of the sports that takes place. Is a lot, but some of the main ones that I'm really, really, really looking forward to seeing is track and field, mainly because I want to see Sha'Carri Richardson break some records. I'm looking forward to seeing Noah Lyles. They are the two fastest people in the world, so I'm looking forward to seeing them do what they do. Track and field, I think, begins at the end of this week. I think it starts on August 1st. And then it runs through the end of the Olympics. So it's like something going on, I think, every day or every other day. But yeah, looking forward to that. Also, Simone Biles on the gymnast side. I'm looking forward to seeing that. She already has been doing her thing these past day or two. I think this morning. It's hard to keep track because of the time difference in Paris. And I'm on the West Coast. So some of these events are taking place like 3 a.m. over here. So I definitely was up, like half sleep, one eye open, watching what I was able to watch at about 4 a.m. this morning out here. But I'm looking forward to seeing Simone Biles. I'm looking forward to seeing track and field. And I watched some of Team USA basketball actually too this morning. Team USA won against, they was playing Serbia, I believe it was. And LeBron and Curry, KD was probably the main stars of the game that happened today. And they won. They did what they were supposed to do. But yeah, those are probably the 3 main sports that I'm interested in watching. But fast shouts to everybody, the entire Team USA. I think the United States has the most Olympians ever. I don't know if this is always the case in all of the Olympics, but it's over 500 athletes. They had a whole boat. Each country has a boat, and our boat was the largest. That many athletes, and it was dope to see. Dope to see. I found myself watching water polo earlier because it was on and I couldn't fall back to sleep. But yeah, fast shouts to the Olympics. We're gonna see what goes down. Stay tuned to Holliewood and Friends on Instagram. I'll definitely post up as things progress. Currently, last check, the United States is number 4 in terms of medals right now. Australia is number 1 right now. At the time I'm recording this, it's probably going to be different by the time you see it. But as of right now, Australia has 4 gold medals. South Korea has 3. France has 2. And the United States has 1. But the United States also has 3 silver and 2 bronze, bringing the total to 6. That's what puts them in 4th place right now. So yeah, still a lot of time to go. A lot more games to be played, a lot more medals to win. So USA, let's go. Let's get it. We're going to move on though. What else is hot in these blogs? Kamala Harris, speaking of USA, she is in the running right now to be the president of the United States of America. And it's not official yet, but it might as well be official. The DNC is in a few weeks. That's when they'll make it official, where she'll be the Democratic nominee. But the momentum right now is inspiring. It's energetic, to say the least. So many people are rallying behind Kamala, and is great to see. There's been some historic moments happening right now, and it has the other side shaking in their boots. First off, the money that was raised just in like the day or two after Kamala made the announcement that she was taking on what Biden passed on to her and taking the torch to run with it, she raised a record number of money. And now you have groups that are trying to do everything in their power to ensure Kamala wins this election. I gotta shout out this organization called Win with Black Women. They were, I think, the first start of this whole situation I'm about to tell y'all about. They got on this call where it was like ultimately ended up being like 70,000 people between Zoom and otherwise, 70,000 women that came together, and they raised $1.5 million from this call. The men were inspired. They got on the call. I forget how many people were on the men's call, but they raised $1.4 million. And then, so that was Black women for Kamala. You have the Black men for Kamala, and then you have white women for Kamala. They were inspired by Win with Black Women. They got on the call of their own. Turns out that was the biggest call Zoom has ever seen. Shut down the servers. Zoom had to bring in their engineers to repair some things. Over 200,000 women on this call, and they raised a whopping $8.5 million in support of Kamala Harris. I heard something about Latinas had a call, Latinas for Kamala, Asians for Kamala. Is this whole movement going on? I seen this video in Florida where apparently this was like deep red state of Florida, where normally in this community, it's usually heavy Republican. And you had a bunch of senior citizens, I guess you would say, who had like a golf cart rally in support of Kamala. So that was dope to see. It's an energy right now that's going on that I haven't really seen in a while. Yeah, probably when Obama was running, there was like this you know, a good energy happening. But this right now is happening. This momentum is where it's at. Some of the naysayers were questioning how long will this last. I think because of the timing of it, we are only 100 days out from this election. The timing of it, this energy is going to last. It's not like this is like last year or, you know, earlier in the year where you got the hype and then it could simmer down. Nah, we too close. This energy is going to remain this energy. There's no way it can't remain this energy. That the election might as well be tomorrow. That's how close it is. So, and it's also going to get another energetic boost when the DNC happens. I believe it's and it's in the middle of August. Like, I forget the exact date, but that is going to give it another little boost up of energy. So I'm loving it. I'm loving what I'm seeing. And fast shouts to Kamala. Also, I want to point out how the Obamas have officially endorsed Kamala Harris for president, something I already knew was coming. I thought it was going to happen maybe closer to the DNC or something, but it happened over the weekend. It was revealed by a video that was posted on Instagram, and it showed Kamala receiving a phone call from the Obamas, basically giving her praise and letting her know that they were behind her and they were going to do everything they can to make sure she wins this election. And then they released an official statement that read, "This week, we got a chance to catch up with a friend who we've known for more than 20 years. She'd had a pretty busy couple of days, to say the least, but we couldn't be more excited for her or more thrilled to endorse Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee for president of the United States. We agree with President Biden. Choosing Kamala was one of the best decisions he's made. She has the resume to prove it. As a prosecutor, she defended the Constitution and fought for folks who deserve a fair shake. As California's Attorney General, she worked hard to ensure everyone was treated fairly, no matter who they are or who they love. As a senator, she was one of the strongest voices, holding the Trump administration accountable. And as vice president, she helped lead the charge on expanding the Affordable Care Act, combating climate change, fighting for reproductive freedom, equality, and the rule of law. But Kamala has more than a resume. She has the vision, the character, and the strength that this critical moment demands. There is no doubt in our mind that Kamala Harris has exactly what it takes to win this election and deliver for the American people. At a time when stakes have never been higher, she gives us all reason to hope. We know over the next few months, Kamala will continue to make her case directly to the American people, Democrats, Republicans, and independents alike. As she does, she will have our full support, and we look forward to watching her unite our party and our country around a vision for a brighter, fairer, and more prosperous future. We're going to do everything we can to elect Kamala Harris, the next president of the United States, and we hope you'll join us. We here. And 45 was trying to use Obama not endorsing her yet as a reason that he didn't want to debate her. They literally released a statement saying that because Obama didn't endorse her, that she wasn't fit, Obama didn't support her, and the Democrats might change their mind, yada, yada, all this. The next day, the Obamas endorsed her. So I'm curious to see what new excuse they're going to come up with as to why they don't want to debate her. I think they just scared. Well, he's just scared. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the debate. As Kamala stated, we need to see that side-by-side split screen of y'all two. Also, I would be doing a disservice to Kamala if I didn't try to dispel some of the negative things that are trying to make their way out. But once Biden made the announcement that he was dropping out of the race and he was passing the torch to Kamala, and she made her official Harris for president campaign, they come to people trying to bring up all of misinformation that they could find. And given the climate of how the internet is, knowing that people don't really do their own research, people usually just see headlines, see Instagram posts, and run with it. So one of the major distortions that has been making its rounds around the internet is that Kamala sent thousands and thousands of Black men and women to prison during her time as district attorney, and that's just not true. Most prosecutions of drug offenses happen on a local level, so there's that. And marijuana-related admissions, I learned, dropped actually substantially during her time in office. So when you hear people saying she was behind putting thousands and thousands of Black men and women in prison, you can look it up for yourself. Statistically, in black and white, it shows she her office oversaw 1,956 felony marijuana convictions. How many of them actually went to prison? Just 45. That's a stark difference from the thousands and thousands you hear people spewing on social media every day. Where they at is right here in black and white. Statistically, you can look it up for yourself. 45 people actually saw jail time. And she led the way at one of the nation's first prison diversion programs called Back on Track. That's something that I don't hear enough people talking about. Back on Track was a program for people between the ages of 18 to 30, first-time nonviolent drug offenders The participants received individualized support and job training, performed community service, and were required to find work or be enrolled in school. And successful graduates had their guilty pleas tossed out and scrubbed from their records. That's a plus. I don't sound like somebody who's trying to put Black people in prison. It sounds like somebody who's trying to keep them out. So there's that. The program internal documents show that they graduated between 30 and 100 people every year and had a reoffense rate of only about 10%. Sounds like a pretty successful program. People out here trying to paint Kamala to be this like villain for Black people. For all of the anti-Kamala people, that's how they're trying to make it seem like she's not for us. She locked up all these people, and it's just not true. So I just want to point out the actual facts that it's in black and white when it comes to her record. But yeah, she's not perfect. No one's perfect, especially politicians. No one's perfect. But like I said, she's not this villain for Black people that certain people are trying to paint how to be. And it's Team Kamala. Team Kamala for me. So fat shouts to Kamala. Let's keep this momentum going and let's win this election, because 45 trying to become 47 is just not it. Not it. There's so many things I can say as to why it shouldn't be it. There's a laundry list of things, but one of the main things, especially given a lot of you seen the latest police unaliving of Sonia Massey, the thought that Trump wants to give police complete immunity. I don't know how any Black man could say they want to vote for that. Like, that alone should be enough to turn you away from Trump. Police immunity? Who's disproportionately affected by police injustice? Who's like unalived by police more than anybody else? Like, I seen some comments say, that's fine because I don't do anything to get stopped by the police. And it's like, are you even from here? Do you even live in America? Like, you don't have to be doing anything. You don't have to be a criminal. You don't have to be committing no crime. You could just be walking while Black, driving while Black, running while Black, and have an encounter with police, where if unfortunately you lose your life, they won't be held accountable because Trump said they have complete immunity. Like, but I'm gonna end that there. I'm gonna move on and switch gears to more on the entertainment side. Divorce in the Black, Tyler Perry's new movie. Have you seen it? If you haven't, I'm not gonna really spoil you none, but I'm gonna give you a chance to like stop watching right now, just in case something slip out. But I'm gonna try not to spoil you anything. The reason I'm talking about it is Tyler Perry is reacting to critics of his movie. Prior to me watching it, I just watched it probably a few days ago. Prior to me watching it, I was avoiding reading like comments and stuff, or avoiding reading posts about it on social media. And it was so many posts about it. As soon as I seen anything about divorcing her, I usually would just like scroll away from it. But there has been a few times where I've seen little things here and there, like people talking about the opening scene of the movie and how crazy it was. So many people were saying this was like the worst movie ever. They ever like, don't even bother watching it. All of these things. I was never one to listen to critics and use their opinions to not watch something. I got to see it for myself. But I did see those posts and comments about it. After watching it, I didn't think it was as bad as people was making it out to be. It was actually, it was one of his better movies. I've seen some that I would say weren't as good. It wasn't his worst, like people were saying. There was some moments, but that's any movie, right? There was some moments where you kind of like really, like that's not realistic. That would not happen. So watching it and having some critiques on that, and like one scene in particular, it is not really a spoiler, but there's a scene where actually it might be a spoiler. There's a scene where what's this guy named Corey, like I guess breaks into Megan Good's house. She already is like with somebody else, and he's upstairs in the bed, sleep or whatever. And she lets Corey just walk up the stairs, like without trying to stop him, without yelling up there, like, yo, somebody's coming or something. Like, your man's just up there snoozing away, just got some. Now he's knocked out. And you just let this man just walk up there and wait till he's about to step in a room. And then you say, such and such, watch out. I don't know the character's name. I'm horrible at names in general. But yeah, she's like, oh, watch out. Now he got to jump up out his sleep, half sleep to fight this dude. And it's like, that's one scene I was looking at like, come on. I should have had her yell up or something. Like, the opening scene was crazy. I'm gonna do y'all a favor and not spoil you that one, but it was crazy and it was a little unrealistic, but you never know, maybe somebody would pull something like that at a funeral. I don't know. That family though, I noticed they were kind of modeled after like black hillbillies or something. That's what they reminded me of. Like, usually see like the mom with like the crazy sons who would do anything and be terrorizing the city. And like Tyler kind of modeled this family to be like the stereotypical like trailer trash type family. So that was unique, I guess. But yeah, overall, it wasn't horrible. But like I mentioned, a lot of people had a lot of things to say about it. And Tyler Perry has clapped back in a sense. So one person in particular, Lonnie Love, she's a comedian, Lonnie Love. Y'all know Lonnie Love. She tweeted out after it was posted from another page that Tyler Perry's Divorcing a Black received a 0% score on Rotten Tomatoes. That's like, yikes. Lonnie Love tweeted out, she said, I love that Tyler is playing back Black actors. Now I wish he would hire Black writers and directors that have experience to help him with his movies. He could improve the movies and make them award worthy if he would stop trying to save money by doing the writing and directing himself. Tyler Perry was on Keke Palmer's podcast recently and was asked to weigh in on the negative attention that his movie was getting. Tyler said, you got to drown all of that out. Because if you let somebody talk you out of a place that God has put you in, you are going to find yourself in hell. He said, I know for a fact that what I'm doing is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Because for everyone who is a critic, I have thousands of what used to be emails from people saying, this changed my life. Oh my God, you know me. Oh my God, you saw me. How did you notice about my life and my family? That is what is important to me. He continued, said, a large portion of my fans are disenfranchised, who cannot get in the Volvo and go to therapy on the weekend. So you've got this highbrow Negro who is all up in the air with his nose, looking up at everything. Then you get people like where I come from and me, who are grinders, who really know what it's like, whose mothers were caregivers for white kids and were maids, housekeepers, beauticians. Don't discount these people and say their stories don't matter. Who are you to be able to say which Black story is important or should be told? He said, get out of here with that bullish. You hear a lot of people say things like Tyler should have other writers and stuff. You always get those types of critiques, but at the end of the day, his movies and his TV shows seem to be pretty successful. So people watching, and as Tyler said, for every critic, there's thousands of people who's like, let's get it, let's go, let's watch. And yeah, I don't think there's ever been a Tyler Perry movie that came out that I said I'm not watching. Like, I always watch Tyler Perry movies. The series, that's a different story. I haven't really been able to get into the series as much, but I know people who love the series. It's just not my jam. And also, I'm not big on series in general. Like, give me a movie because I feel like I ain't got time to be sitting here watching 10 episodes of something. So I find it hard to get into series in general. But Tyler Perry's movies, I always watch. And this one, Divorce in the Black, was not his worst film ever. Despite what the critics are saying, it wasn't the worst. I was reading some comments about it. I'm gonna skim through some of them. Someone said this movie sucked. I keep trying to change the channel, but my friend wouldn't let me. She said she wanted to see how much worse Tyler's script could get. Wow. And then right next to that, you have a comment that said, it's the hate for me. This movie was the bomb. The only issue is the unnecessary profanity and the plot revolving around divorce because I don't believe in it. On the other hand, the movie itself was absolutely phenomenal. She said, I feel that Tyler Perry hasn't strayed too far from the creators of soap operas who often maintain suspenseful storylines. In my opinion, this movie was nothing short of brilliance. Okay, brilliance. Someone said horrible acting. Tyler Perry needs to evolve. It's a mess. It's like back and forth. Scrolling through this right now is like back and forth. There's a lot of people who saying it was the worst. Someone said sad in every aspect. Someone else said absolutely awful, awful story, awful acting. I can't believe how bad this was. And then you got someone else said, I enjoyed this movie and appreciated the topic that the director was focused on. Good performances from the entire cast. Worth watching. 4 stars. Performance-wise, Corey Hardrick, give this man his Emmy or whatever he got to get. I don't know, but he played that role. As absurd as some of the moments were, I guess that was the direction, but it was like on 10. Like the anger, the disrespect, everything was on 10 from the beginning of the movie. One thing I will give Tyler credit for is, even though it was implied, he didn't show a lot of abuse, a lot of physical abuse in this movie. He waited until the very end. There's like one scene where they'll show Tyler, Corey's character being abusive towards Megan's character physically. And that was when it like came to a head and she had to do what she had to do. I'm not going to tell y'all, but yeah, I admire that part for sure. He didn't show too much of that. He didn't have to either. Like, but Corey did a good job at conveying that this is what it was. I don't really mess with you. We just here. And he didn't have to show the actual abuse. And I also found it surprising too that this is another spoiler, I guess. Corey's character is the one that called for the divorce. I thought it would have been like Megan's character, like finally getting fed up with it all and it's like, nah, I'm out of here. But they made it where Corey's character was like, I want a divorce. Like, get me out of this mess. I don't know. But that was just a testament to like his mental state. They wanted to show like he was clearly like not in his right mind. Like something was wrong. He needed to address some internal issues. And he saw Megan as being like trying to like change him and set him back, hold him back, that sort of thing. Yeah, that happened. Someone said Corey is good. Hopefully he works with a better director to show his range more. I'm gonna read like two more comments on this movie. One negative one. The movie was typical and boring to me. It could have been so much better, but instead it was the same story we've seen in many films. And last comment I'm gonna read on the movie. This one gave it 5 stars. They said, although it had an over-the-top beginning, I think it was necessary to show how crazy the mother was and how much her sons would do for her, regardless of how ridiculous. That's a good way to look at it. They said the actors did stellar performances, and I found it to be engaging. The critics who scored this movie were either never a Perry fan or just tired of him. I can see that. 0 is a ridiculous score. I'd say watch for yourself. It's at least worth one watching. That part. I don't see how anybody could just take critics' word for it and just be like, oh, is that bad? Nah, I'm not watching it. Like, what? Everybody has like art is subjective. Everyone's tastes are different. So it's like, I would never, even when it was like Siskel and Ebert, when they were like on our TV screens giving movies ratings and like pass or watch, it's like, I'm gonna watch it. I don't care if you say pass, because I might like it. And everybody's looking at it from different ways. Some people's looking at the overall, some people's looking at the storyline, some people's looking at lighting, like, you know, everybody's looking at movies from different ways. So watch it for yourself, judge it for yourself. I say if I had to give this a score of 1 to 5, I would give it a 3.5. 3.5. It's worth checking out. It wasn't his worst movie. It has some moments, but it was overall pretty good movie. 3.5 stars. I give it. Someone said Richard Lawson and Debbie Morgan were good. They were. So yeah, that's The Voice in the Black. Check it out. And that is going to conclude what's hot in the blogs for this week. Thank you for watching. If you rock with your boy, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, it's called Hollywood and Friends, which means I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the topics I just discussed. I appreciate you. New episodes every Monday night. Until next time, deuces.